So, that being said, we're fighting a righteous fight, and that's why Tigray will prevail. We're fighting for the people, and that's why Tigray will prevail. So thank you all. I want to introduce one of my favorite human beings on earth, Tigray Hailu. He is an unsung hero in our community. He is the reason, one of the main reasons we have Denver Axum sister cities. When I went to Sudan, he made books so that the kids could learn while they're in the refugee camps. This is someone who fights night and day on behalf of children, and specifically Tigrayan children. So please help me welcome a hero in our community, Tigray Hailu.
Thank you, Melita. I can't thank you enough. I assume everybody has seen the interview she had with Mr. Kapila in IHS, Tigray Media House, in Tigray Media House. Everybody has seen that interview. And that's the most informative interview I have ever seen. I want you to support Melita, to give her a big hand for what she did, and to Tigray Media House also. Thank you. Yes, she's right. Right from the very beginning, when we started the idea of establishing Denver Axum sister city, we had opposition from our friends, Ethiopian friends. We called them friends at that time, not now. But, you know, nobody could imagine, none of us could ever imagine that they would hate us so much, in spite of the fact that Tigray has done so much for Ethiopia. Not us,
yes, sir,
but our forefathers and forefathers. You know, they have been the heroes of Ethiopia, maintaining the sovereignty of Ethiopia against foreign invaders. And now they call us enemies. Now they call us as if we are foreigners. Remember when Emperor Johannes IV, the Tigrayan emperor, was in power, he went and made Menelik king of Shoa, and he made also Tekla Haimanot king of Gojam, and he allowed them to rule their domain as long as they paid yearly tribute. And he never ever considered them as enemies. They were just leaders of other parts of Ethiopia. And that was the kind of Tigrayan intelligence, the Tigrayan democracy there was, even from the very first days, in the ancient days. And then when EPRDF took over, they built a federation of minority, where minority ethnics were given equal opportunity, equal right in the power of the country, in leading the country. There is no constitution, I can bet you, there is no constitution as progressive as the constitution that the IHADEC formulated for Ethiopia, giving minorities self-determination, including secession. Imagine, no African country would like to have this experimentation that the EPRDF started to succeed, because it means it's going to be a kind of a difficult thing for the rulers now in power in Africa to be able to continue to rule without giving equal right to their minorities. And it was only Ethiopian constitution. I bet you I haven't seen any other constitution in the world. I'm not a constitutional historian, but I have not come across one that has such a progressive concept of giving minorities equal rights with everybody else, and to be recognized instead of being sidelined throughout history. And can you imagine if there was free and fair election in Ethiopia now, where all the people of Ethiopia had the right to elect? They would elect the people now in power, like Abiy Ahmed and his followers. Would you imagine that? Who would want to become again slaves, to become slaves again, when they were given the freedom to self-rule? And then develop their own culture, their own language, to teach their children with their own language instead of Amharic. Who would want to go back to that? Who would want to be in a centralized power where one person decides the fate of everybody else?
Only the dictators.
Nobody else. Nobody else would want that. But there
Yes.
is no there's not going to be any fair and equal election in Ethiopia. It's going to be a bogus election. And that's all because they want to stay in power. That's the only aim they have. Isaias had two dreams. Isaias had two dreams. One dream was to eliminate the TPLF. Okay, so the war now, the Eritrean war against Ethiopia is a vendetta war because he lost the war last time. The Tigrayans defeated him, and he's carrying out a vendetta war right now.
أغرب بالله.
The other dream he has is that he wanted to destabilize Ethiopia completely.
النار حاغب.
Why is that?
ميكروفون النار حاغب.
Because he could then exploit Ethiopian resources for his own benefit. For his own benefit, not for the Eritrean people, by the way, just for his own benefit, to stay in power. Imagine 1 year, Eritrea was cited as one of the African coffee exporting countries. Eritrea doesn't have any coffee plantations at all. We all know that. And in spite of that, Eritrea was one of the African countries exporting coffee. And that was because all the coffee was stolen from the southern and western Ethiopia with Ethiopian currency, with Ethiopian money, dirty cheap. The Eritreans were robbing from Ethiopia and then exporting it as if it was their own. That was his dream. And he has accomplished it thanks to very naive and stupid pathetic liar Abiy Ahmed. Because of that, he is now really the hero of the dictators. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history. And we have to be proud of our heritage, really. Johannes IV, Emperor Johannes IV, died protecting Gondar, the churches of Gondar, the priests of Gondar, from the Mahadist invasions. He died, he gave his life to protect the Gondar. You know, the Gondarians are against the Tigrayans. You know, Abiy Ahmed spoke one truth among all his lives. And that truth was when he went to Tigray
Sorry, buddy.
to talk to the Tigrayans and the parliamentarians. He said he actually compared the relationship between an automobile and the engine. The engine of an automobile and the body of the automobile. And he compared that to the relationship between Tigray and Ethiopia. And he said there is no meaning Ethiopia without Tigray and Tigray without Ethiopia. And now what is he doing? He is destroying the engine of Ethiopia. That's what he's doing. So this is really absurd. I mean, nobody has ever
Hey, what's up? Danny. 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 Danny.
It's a surprise.
What's up?
This is there's something in it. It's a surprise.
It's going to be
Something in it.
okay. Did he make it?
I didn't make it.
Did you wrap it?
I didn't wrap it.
You helped.
I actually don't know what's
Pretend
in
you
it.
helped.
I don't know what's in it.
That's okay.
But this is going to be auction. It's going to go for a good cause. You know, we look for opportunities to generate money, to help out the others. So you'll see this being auctioned off today.
Thank you. Thank you, Howard.
Always.
I'm incredibly here. Mayor Hancock wasn't able to attend, but he joins me in sending greetings to everyone here in our city of Axum Park, which is our symbol of our relationship between the two sister cities. It's amazing to think that last year in 2020, which was our 20th anniversary, we had so much hope for the future of our relationship with Axum. We had a trip coming up. We were going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary. And then COVID hit, and then the conflict hit, and then we started to hear news of civilian deaths, including in Axum. And at Denver Sister Cities International, we try to be nonpartisan, and we try to stay out of politics. But along with all other Americans, we know that we need to avoid becoming entangled in the internal issues and the numerous ethnic groups in Ethiopia. But that does not stop us from speaking out when we see civilian deaths, when we see gender-based violence, indiscriminate looting, and man-made starvation. We have to speak out. So we will continue with Denver Sister Cities International to urge the American government to pursue current policy that urges the end to all violence and free, unfettered access to organizations, fighting we hope the peace will come sooner than later, and we will be there ready to meet that need when it happens. We will join together with our neighbors in Aurora and their sister city of Adama. We will share our commitments, and the belief in the future of Axum and Ethiopia. And we will do our part. We will be there with you to rebuild and restore and create the future that's worthy of the enduring partnership that we are so proud of between Denver and Axum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The relationship between Denver and Axum is a very strong one that goes back 26 years. I'm going to introduce a friend of mine. He should have been the mayor of Aurora. We all fought for him. He's a true hero and advocate for young people and social justice, and he's not afraid to call a spade. My friend Omar Montgomery.
First of all, I just want to say I have a lot of students out here from teaching at CU Denver. As an African American, this is an issue you get pulled in on both sides, just to be honest. And it's difficult because if you go on one side, then people have things to say, and if you go on the other side, yes, people have things to say. But the most important part, and people have heard me say this before, we must have peace in Ethiopia, period. Our Tigrayan community must feel safe. Our Tigrayan, the issues that are taking place out there, once there's a ceasefire, which we're calling for, we want a ceasefire immediately. But it's the humanitarian aid that's going to have to happen after. The rebuilding of schools, the rebuilding of communities, and the rebuilding of life. So we stand with you that once this is over, that it will be time to repair. And once again, one of the most important countries on the Horn of Africa is Ethiopia. And when Ethiopia is stable, the Horn of Africa is stable, and we can begin to see the greatness in our continent. With that stated, thank you for having me here today. I will not be able to stay too long because I have another event, but just wanted to come and show our support. Thank you.
Thank you. I still call him Mayor Omar. Maybe next time around. Our next speaker you all know. Question about what's happening. And if they were a different people, not on the African continent, not in Tigray, there would have been a faster reaction. And Mayor Webb is scared of no one because he speaks the truth. And when you speak the truth and you stand on the side of justice, no one can say anything to you. So, thank you for being here, Wilma and Mayor Webb. I'm going to pass it on.
My lovely wife who helped get me through a year being ill last year. Without her, I wouldn't be standing here. So can we give another round of applause? Repeat after me. Stop the genocide. 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 Stop the genocide against the people of Tigray. Against the people of Tigray. Against the people of Tigray. We always want to make sure we know where we are. This ain't no avalanche game. Let me say this. Be brief. 25 years ago, 26 years ago, and my grandkids say I'm one of the OGs. This is Cherry Park. And we renamed this park Axum Park. So say it, Axum Park. Axum Park. This is your park, but you got to use it. But if people drive by and they don't see anybody in the park, they're going to wonder, well, why did they name this park Axum Park? And I remember when Wilma and I and your honest brothers, we built the park in Axum 4 called Denver Park. More than 10 to 15,000 people met us at the airport. Many of those people are not around now. They're not around now. And so there are other black Americans that ask the question, well, why are you so passionate about this? I said, this is about the same as having black people in Mississippi killing black people in Alabama. It's the same deal. It's about who's in control and who's going to be in power. So this week, I sent a letter to Susan Rice and also to Jake Sullivan, who's the deputy security advisor for President Biden. And I said very clearly, when the Civil War broke out, genocide broke out in Serbia, the United States was there sending military aircraft to stop the genocide in Serbia. When the Tutsis and the other tribe, Hutu, had a civil war in Rwanda, nothing came from the United States. And then recently there was a skirmish between Hamas and Israel. And President Biden spoke about quiet diplomacy that same week. Now for 7 months, the people of Tigray have been trying to survive with no support from the United States. And Russians and Chinese are selling weapons against the people in Tigray. So this is partly political. I saw part of the march yesterday. Somebody said, people, not politics. Part of this is political. And so what we need is elected officials to stand up and say what you said earlier. Let's say it again so we can remember. What do we want them to do? Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. We want Jason Crow. We want Diana DeGette. We want that woman with the gun on her hip. We want all these people standing up to say the same thing. Stop the genocide that's taking place in Ethiopia. But Tigray. But if we don't say anything, they're going to say everything is fine. So we have to speak up. We have to speak up and speak out and speak loud. And we have to let people know. And so the letters, emails I sent to Susan Rice and also to Jake Sullivan, they said they will put in Biden's hand as soon as he gets back. So I'm asking you, contact your Congress people and tell them you watching how they vote on this. You want their support. We can even take a letter from Mike Kaufman. He can send a letter in. We want letters from everybody saying that we want to stop the genocide. And so that's my message today. 25 years, Wilma and I were here to dedicate this park. And of course, as only a few years ago, Wilma was 19 and I was 52. But the reality is, no one will fight for you unless you fight for yourselves. And I always told my kids that. If you didn't fight, you're going to get beat up when you come home. So if you go back out there, you might as well do the best you can and then you come home. So let's fight. Let's fight for Tigray. Let's fight for Tigray. Let's fight for Tigray.
Let's fight for
Let's fight for Tigray.
Let's fight for Tigray.
Let's fight for Tigray. Let's fight for Tigray. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
That's our mayor, Mayor Wellington Webb. I'll never forget, Mayor Webb, something that you said. He wrote a book, and I went to the book signing, and someone asked him, why did you write the book? And he said, is Mayor Webb listening? I came to your book signing, and someone asked you, why did you write the book? And I'll never forget what you said. You said, because I want to be the one who tells my story for my children and my grandchildren. And I think that's a big lesson for us as Tagaru.
Yes.
We need to tell our stories to our children and our grandchildren accurately, because the stories that are written are not accurate. So I want to introduce Miss Dolores. We have so many advocates. Tigray is not alone. Trust me. Tigray is not alone. So Miss Dolores.
Thank you. I am, when Jack LeBron came to see me many years ago, Jack LeBron Gebrahiwat, when he came to see me many years ago, his mother gave him some advice. His mother said, I'm getting old. You need to find an American mother and an American father to understand how to live in America. And so I have done that for Jack LeBron as best as I can. And I know that you really respect Jack LeBron and love him just as much as I do. When I first came to Denver, it was in 1991. I had never met anybody from Ethiopia. I went into a 7-Eleven. I looked at this beautiful person and I asked, from where are you? I'm from Ethiopia. I never heard the word Oromo. I never heard the word Tigray. I heard Ethiopia.
Tigray.
And Tigray. And it broke my heart when I heard that there is so much dissension, so much hate, so much fear that has come out in the last 7 months. It is a tragedy. We should all be crying. This nation, one nation under God, America, we should all be crying that our fellow citizens and their families far away in Africa are suffering and being raped and being brutalized and being their food. Again, you've already suffered one and many famines, and now you have to go through another. This is not right. I agree with Wellington Webb, Mayor Wellington Webb. He is a great leader for you. I worked under him. I was with the city attorney's office many years ago, and I can tell you, we still say he was our best mayor. You have a great leader. You have great leaders. Do not fear. Do not be afraid. But remember to love one another. And God bless America. God bless the Tigray people.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mr. Dolores. Thank you, Mr. Wellington Webb. Can I say something? Mrs. Wilma with Mr. Wellington, when they coming back from Tigray, from Axum, we started to celebrate about the Denver sister city, Axum, and the Denver Strait in Axum. I asked her, what do you see? What is your favorite? I say my first Can you say for her, please? Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Wilma. Thank you very much. Yang nila, kabdi katil na program na katalayo. Maadagday. Itong kulla kasi, hansab katil nayo, hansab hanik nayo, hansab buzuh nagar, gerna zulu zunabaru, irmin maadagday, maaf hant starafat nagar alamo, nimilita ba'duma, nimilita توتيا نبلا تشكبه.
One more time and I'll be done, I promise. We have a really special guest here. This isn't, genocides happen. They happen to many different communities and cultures, and oftentimes the communities are left to fight for themselves. Well, we have a friend from Armenia who has been speaking up over and over and over again. He recognizes the similarities with what the Armenians went through, our siblings on the other side. So Simon, would you please come up? He's a humanitarian, he's a scholar, he's here to share some words from his community to show the solidarity with Tigray.
Thank you, Milete. Brothers and sisters, I'm here today as a descendant of Armenian genocide survivors. Here today as an immigrant, as an American, as a resident of Northeast Denver, but most importantly, as a fellow human being. Because the genocide that is being committed in Tigray today should concern all humans, everywhere in this world. And I'm also here because the Armenian genocide didn't just happen 100 years ago. Just 7 months ago, our community was also protesting. We were out in the streets at congressional offices, asking our elected officials to stand with us, asking Lockheed Martin to stop arming dictators. And just like our community, to be very honest, we felt very lonely because most of the time it was just us who showed up. But you know what? That was enough. It was enough to have each other. So I'm here with you in that spirit, in the spirit of solidarity, but also to share you something I learned a long time ago. It's called psychic numbing. It was a study done about 10 years ago at the University of Oregon. They showed 3 photos to people, 1 starving child, 2 starving children, and a group of starving children. And people seem to only care about the 1 child, a little bit about the 2 kids, but not at all about a group. And that is called psychic numbing, because when we hear 5 million people are being starved, it's really hard to process that information. It's really hard to relate to that. And that is why a lot of us just don't want to think about it. And that is why solidarity matters. And that is why every voice matters. And I know it matters to you to have even 1 Armenian or 2 with my sister Adrina here. But I know it matters when you also hear from community leaders. So I reached out this morning to someone in our community I've been speaking with about the genocide in Tigray for weeks and months, especially after the news from Abuna Matias, who talked about the struggle, who talked about the gag rule against him. So I reached out to the spiritual leader of the Armenian community in the Western United States. He serves over 1 million Armenian Americans. And I asked him to send prayers for Tigray. And he dictated the prayer for me this morning. And I'm going to read it for you. Today I bring to you all the prayers of the spiritual leader of the Armenian community of the Western United States, His Eminence, Archbishop Hovnan Derterian. Praying for Tigray is not only the passion of my heart, it is equally the prayer of the faithful members of the Armenian Apostolic Church, the earliest Christians of the world before the Europeans hijacked it. I don't want to editorialize, so I'll keep talking about reading the prayer. And it is equally the prayer of all humanity. Peace and justice can prevail when we all pray together and become the hands of the Almighty God in bringing peace into the lives of the people of God. It pains our heart
The children of God are in suffering in a world where all witness the progress of technology and education. However, spirituality retracts and respect for human life fails. Therefore, let this gathering be a fellowship to reclaim peace for the entire world, but today specifically for the people of Tigray who are crying for peace and justice. The dignity of human life should be respected by all of us in fulfilling the will of God. Let us all pray for the people of Tigray, for we are all one body. As one member is in pain, the whole body is in suffering. We are descendants of the first modern genocide, and our martyrs call on us to be advocates for justice for all. The sufferings of Tigray pain God, and God calls us to stand with Tigray.
Thank you very much. And so to thank you, sir. We appreciate. ብዙሕ ነገር እዩ ዘለና ሜዝን ዝኾነ ስእሊ ንኩሉ ግዜ ከም አንቲክ ትሕዝዎ ጨረታ ዝቐርብ እውን ኣለና እዩ ብዙሓት ኣጋይሽ እውን እኒአውና ፅቡቅ ዝኾነ መልእኽትን ንህዝብና ዝሕግዝ ድምፂ ዝኸውንን ኣሎ ገና ቀፃላ እዩ ካብዚ ቀፂልና ከምቲ ሓንተወ ዝበልኩም መራሕትና ንፈትፊኦም ፈላስፋና እንድሕር ቀፂሎም ታሪክ ትግራይ ከም ታሪክ ኮይኑ ክጠፍእ ካብ ዓለም ፀሪጎም ከጥፉና ስለዝሓስቡ መጀመርያ ንመራሕትና እዮም እከለ ቀቲልናዮ እከለ ተቐቢሩ ኣብ ከምዚ ነይሩ ቀብሩ ኣብዚ ጎቲቶም ወሲዶም እናበልዮም ዛረቡ ሕዚ ብዛዕባ ንሱ ቁልጭ ኣቢለ ክዛረብ ኣይደልን ብዛዕባ ህልው ኩነታት ትግራይ መልኪታ ኣክቲቪስት መዓዛ ግደይ ናብ መድረክ እስኪ መዓዛ ግደይ ጭብጨባ እስካህዋ ዘዋዕሮ ጅግና ትግራወይቲ ኣብዚ የላ እሕቲ ረቢላ ብዛዕባ ኩነታት ትግራይ ክተቕርበልና እያ መዓዛ
Thank you very much, Anil. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Genocide community for organizing such an amazing protest. We all came from different parts of the country in order to amplify the plight of our people. But it's very encouraging that we have allies. This fight is not a fight of the Tigray people, but it's also a fight of anybody who upholds injustice, who upholds the suffering of innocent people. So I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up today and yesterday and made sure that the Denver, city hears our cries, hears the plight of our people. Having said that, I'm here to pass few messages that our respected president, Dr. Debretsion, today he had a meeting over Zoom and he made two important messages. Before anything else, he recognized the fight the Diaspora community is leading. He said the people of Tigray as well as the government of Tigray is grateful for everything that everybody is doing here in the Diaspora. He recognized the power we have. He recognized the power there is in our voice. And he encouraged us to continue to do what's right for our people. Because Tigray is still under attack. Tigray is still being exterminated. Our people are still suffering from the genocidal regimes of Ethiopia and Eritrea. So it's very important that we always keep in mind as we continue to amplify the plight of our people. Our role here is complementary. Ultimately, the fate and the future of Tigray will be decided by our defense forces and by our people back home. The other two important messages he made, I'm just going to make it in Tigrinya so that everyone understands it. كل تعبيتهم نجارات نتبع العلو. اتحدى حز زجبر زخانة يكون عينتنا fundraising event. تجري حزونا تسأل ما تلزلا بزح ناينوات حاجة زيادة الليو. حزونا حزوني تأمل له. كله نجورا من إسعاس كده في قبو. كله بقول تلتينا وزخن الزارة وقد النتي كونن. You all understand time مالتهم قانون السوق. جن زخلو زجبر ناي fundraiser events. It needs to be done in a centralized manner. كما خلى اللو. إذن موال the government of Tigray, Debretsion, clearly he said every donation should be made to the aid. كله تزاريب له مخنياتو you all know today has a rich history of building schools, hospitals, and clinics in Tigray for the past over 30 years. Out of the 4 schools in Tigray, 3 of them were built by TDA. Imagine what that means. Everybody that you see here has been to a school that was built by TDA. And these schools were built with the money you donated here. ኣብዚ ዘሎ ዲያስፖራ ንዓዱ መሊሱ ስለ ዝሃበ ቅርሺ ተማሂርና ኢና ኣብዚ በፂሕና ሕዚ ትሪኡና ዘለኹም ምስ ቃልናዮ ዓቕምን ህዝብኩም ድምፂ ክንኮን ንምኩር ዘለና ስለዚ ሕዚላ እንገብሮ ኩሉ ናይ ቅርሺ ምውፃእ ፃዕርታት ሴንትራላይዝድ ኮይኑ ብቲዲኤ ኣቢሉ ንመንግስቲ ትግራይ ንክበፅሖ ክሊርሊ ተዛሪቡ ኣሎ ባዕሉ ስለዚ እንታይ ማለት እዩ በቢልና እንገብሮ ናይ ፈንድሬዘር ፃዕርታት ክቆሙ ኣለዎ ማለት እዩ ምስ ቲዲኤ እናተዛዛልና ተዘራርብና coordinate and govern effectively because as a community we have very limited resource and it's very imperative that we use it effectively and efficiently. To do that, it's very important that we collaborate on projects, that we listen to each other, that our messaging is aligned. The other important message he made was حزون under attack نازلنا. مزحتنا أمريكا من قصي مقلت تلو يروح حبرات مجلس خوت تلو نشتن استعودنا يمثلنا له نشتن نزح حال لنا صراحتنا يقنص له but حزون تجراي تورر يا زلا حزون تجراي تتقع يا زلا أحواتنا are being still raped. Tigray is still being under attack. ስለዚህ ተቃልስና حزينا خنحيلو زقبنا. All important international policy makers, governments have expressed their concerns. Some have promised some sort of restriction and sanctions, but none of it has been materialized yet. Even the promise the US government regarding flight restriction, again, I was under law. We still don't know which members of the Ethiopian government as well as the Eritrean government are under that sanction. We don't know because it hasn't been materialized. So this is a reason for us to even scale up our advocacy works. We need to aggressively approach our local political representatives. We have to tell them what exactly is happening to our people. While we do that, at the same hand, we also need to tell them what is the stand of our regional government. Our regional government has been and still continues to be willing and ready to work with the international community. They made a promise not only to allow international aid workers to move within Tigray, but also to provide them protection while they deliver humanitarian aid to our people. So this kind of stands are coming from our government, and it's our responsibility to make sure that the international policymakers are aware of such stands, because unfortunately for us, the international media doesn't cover what our government is saying. So now we need to flood the emails of local representatives. We have to keep them up to date regarding our governments and our defense forces stand. The other thing is, it's led by the government representatives. We have ambassadors who legally represent the Tigray government, and everything we do here is led by them. ስለዚህ መልእኽቲ ዳይሬክሽንስ እንወስድ ካብ ሓደ ዘይኮነ ካብቶም ተወከልቲ መንግስቲ ትግራይ ከም ዝኾነ እውን ክቡር ፕሬዚደንት ዶክተር ደብረጽዮን ሎማዓንቲ ኣፍሊጡሎ. So I just came here to pass this message, but I want to say يقنيلنا to the Denver community, thank you for the hospitality, thank you for the beautiful food that we just ate, and I also want to say thank you so much for everybody who showed up today and showed their sympathy and support for the people of Tigray. It means the world to us. We have been screaming for the past 7 months all alone. We felt alone, just like what my brother said. We were feeling alone, and still we feel alone because what's happening is unimaginable. Everyone should be standing by the people of Tigray, but unfortunately, everything has become political. Even saying stop a genocide has become a political. And because of that, a lot of people are not standing with us, but we're hopeful that you would help us raise awareness about this and that you would come and bring more people next time that will collaborate on projects and work together to make a better world for everybody. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, our hero, Madam. Mr. Tamariyom, Kwanatra Hornet, Batami Terra, Golden State, Kamazus Melach Farialna, Tamina, Arzalana, Allah Has, Abab Safi, says Father Moraz, إني تتحاجنا تقرأي كنعوتنا أو ذي قلتلنا ليتن تترنا public diplomacy نزبزي زنيو ناي ورتن ناي دكتاتراتن زنبري
رأي نخعبر العالم نخوننو ليتن قترن كابز صعر حونا آتو مرخت كيروس كبابليك ديبلوماسنا مدرخ كابسياتل. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, all of you. I have a habit once I took microphone to speak for a longer time, but I will ask you. I will say simple thing. I can't hear you very well. Thank you so much. I am here among the giant speakers and giant person who has done so much for our community. And I will take this opportunity to say thank you for the efforts, especially the young one that we have never spent time with them to become what they are. And I am so thrilled to say thank you. Without your support, without your help, the Tigray voice will never be heard. Thank you. Thank you. Keep up. Keep up. I will say this. Weren't we demonstrate on the streets of London? Yes. Weren't we demonstrate on the streets of Denver? Yes. Weren't we demonstrate on the streets of New York? Yes. Weren't we demonstrate on all over the world? Why is the world ignoring us? Why is our plight is ignored? That means we have a lot of work. Our work has not been done. We have to continue working until the voice of our people be heard. As we speak now, our people's plight, they are being raped, they are being killed, they are being systematically starved. So that means we have a lot of work ahead of us. We shouldn't spare for 1 minute. The responsibility is upon us to become a voice for the voiceless of our people. Brothers and sisters, think about what we have gone. 7 months. What did we accomplish up to now? Our people still are dying, still are starving. That means we have a lot of work. And thank you, Melissa, especially for highlighting us last time to bring a famous, known person on genocide on his humanitarian work. Tigray genocide stands at stage 9. That means we are completely annihilated. This is a question of being alive or dead. So, fellow Tagaru and friends of Tagaru, our work is just begun. Let's hope with the intervention of God, with the intervention of our effort, Tigray will prevail. Tigray تسعر. Thank you so much. Keep up the fight. Tigray تسعر. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barakat. بتعمي غني لنا. حزون. إن كان معرام، إن كان مبرا، إن كان جبوبو، كاب سمين زموتو. تقالستي فلي حيل تجراي تجار النيويم. activist نيو هو أروي يومنا. كاب فتوتنان فتوت سنان ويك عمسانا تقال سوزلو دليت بتحي سر إيقدف سر وراتي سراويت إرتراويان تقالستون اللو يموذي ناي أورومو تقالستي زوكلون اللو يم جنايو بروغرامنا حذقن كزاربكم يدلن بتعمل سابرايز زخون أجرت أيو سكاب جرت سلي سكاب زدالو سقاهي سكاب زدالو بعال ألم سكاب زدالو كل جزء قطمي نعدخا ذكركا بيزا هزبخا نختكون زدفكا قطم زقطم يا قوني براه ني حمش دقيقة كزانا قعكم يو بروغرام نقلت على يو يا قوني برانا مدرخ اسكي بتعالي يغني اللي كمين له دك تقراي بحبرة والله كنت هلنا أبسجن أمكرا دافش ليون أي سلاي فقرة مو
بزي أقاطع مزي نحن تقارو بتاريخنا ون زي تنبركنا حبرة سبسلة زغنا زي جميرنا يوزلنا أساسنا نقص له خمس قبا بس أقاطع مزي كذا آخرفتو أمون عيلومي قطمي نذكرتان نتهم قردي زي لكبهم لأنت تقرأي كبلو خبرتي هواتهم زوفيو لسماعتاتنا تكون اندابلكو اتي نبوزحات مناسي نابقر لي نخو حزوز قبر زنابري نقر نندو حلفاي اندابل زدرف النبري برهاني مذكرتان نتون يكون مو لتانا تودر فبيلانا تاقتمي كاتي أياي نبي كيدو أياي نبي كيدو إتيس عرام أياي إتيس عرام أياي نايجزانا عمدي نسلام زسبخ شماغل عدي مربتو حليفو زي هذنا يولدو عودي أياي نبي كيدو نايسدرانا أبادي إزاون اللي شالخو نياي خنادي إتي مربانا وعوع زلمده زري كيفلين سبات زعنقده عديس أويلو حفاش نابي كم زخده كميلين غزاينتو أياي دمس خالميده دخام كازك يريو أياي ريو ليده ملسي سينلو زقربكو بوحدتو حلفاي ونسينيا دمسا أطفي أطو حنقو قولادكم برهاني لومينا بينتو حقوفاي زبلني سيني دويلة أبري بيتا كريستيان كيدو خي يخون كم لمادو خسلي كل ساعة دويلو زسلي الله نفتاري نساون سويلا إتا سواخيت فقري إتي بيتا كريستيان ناون بمدفع فريسو نواي قدوسان كله توريسو نقرن ندو حلفاي كيبلكو تردي نملسو مخال أبيني زعقركو نبعتي فسيسو أبتا أياي زسلي الله زنبرا خوينا تنبركي خير اكزيو واندابلكو داوي زاكي تمسيت أن تسلي كي حسبكو أبقنت بسيحي بيمان تسأقام زبره كموركي انتر في تحواس زي الرأيوش انكي برهانو زي منو كل ساعة حيوركي سمايتا تقراي زبل ببرهان تسعيفو ما انت هزبي ما انت حتقولوا هيوتهم زحلفو نسبك كفعو عمن انتهم صنعهم بخبريز عرفو أبقى نتري ايوم هو أبقى نتري ايوم ناي كابرا ناي كبري كابا انداتو قوانا تصفو نياي كركبنا ما خلهم كيده نياي كركبنا ما خلهم كيده نياي رفيبيون أجايش انداس فأنا قدي بقطع منفس نمن تاي تدرينا لها نبي خيده نمن تاي بينا أخواليده اسكن قرني نبي خيده رأيهم ساي بزبرلون عايز ولده تقاوين هو تقاوينت متخايو تاريخ انداسنده للعي حلفايو شمكايو نباري أبغى زخراي علم موت نزي قري نايزل علم موت بارنتيو نفسي أول زدوري حق حسكاتك أليس كفتلكايو ناي جنت بري كي تتألم حية ناي سمعت تاتلي
كلهم بحد قال هاي تغارو حدري اياتاتكم كي تعبروا سلايكم نمدفع بحد اسمرو ببزح سراويتهم شحن تفكروا قدني وعن مريت تقراي تقبروا تقراوينة يسأنتن نوي هيسو اندابرو سمايتاتن جنة تزمرو بتقراوينة عزية حبيلي سور مسرتي ونفع تقراي كولي تهرو موتي واتكم زلو أمينة لكا أياي مالت أنا أياي حقها إيخا مرقني نستم بصوتي مخاري خشني ود من دي خا ودتهم عدهم زي شطو ودتهم بجبرنتهم عالم زنقطقطو ودتهم برانا في حقهم إنو وقيرهم تاريخ زقمتو بزو ودي وفر زناري داويتي لكا وشاطي تقميتو እንደገና ናይ ኩሎም ሰማዕታት በሓደ ልሳኖም ተኸፊቱ ውፈሩ ተጋሩ በሓደ ክተቱ ነፃ ሃገረ ትግራይ ብደምኩም መስርቱ ደም ሰማዕታት ከይተርፍ ከንቱ ሃገረ ትግራይ እትምስርትሉ ሕዚ እዩ ሰዓቱ ኢሎም እንትዝምሩ እንዳሰማዕኽዎም ተመሲጠ ካብ ዝነበርክዎ ተበራቢረ ንነፍሰይ ፈሊጠ حدري سماعتات بتبعت كبيته ناي اياي زنارو داويتو تحنقيته ناب سراوي تقراي ميدا وريده اب عدي نصانت كنكس نصلاتي قرنيده سبن لوا تقراي اياي انتخده نبارنت امبي كابزولو ايه توليده نبارنت امبي كابزولو ايه توليده هلو تقراوا يوصع زلخا ايتنا ولاديخا ايو تخور دمصخا نصلاتخا ماي زبلكا يوم عالم فسخا كبري قباكا ايو سمعتات يومخا دياسبورا تقراي قباكا ايو خبري نصلايخا بقررو وحاني كازا حسكايو بتري بزي عرفتي ليتخونا قتي ناي عالم نقصات عنقطيت كايو بري زفكاري جناخ قرفيو بحالن قبتي حدرا دك تقراي نسمر كي نفالالي ننرئسنا نتحلالي تسعيرو يفلطن عوتن تقراي زبلي سراينا بقلصنا مستنقلي حفاش حزبنا بتحواس ندعللي عن مسرتا هاجر تقراي يقانينا مقلي عن مسرتا هاجر تقراي يقانينا مقلي يقانينا
Thank you artist دياقون يمرح كل جزء بتعمي لبقاز مسكتمو خبرتي أغلنا بتعمي غنينا سخلاي تقعد يمرح كم قتلنا كم تتفلتوا جمو زخونة سلامة وسلفي بمريت رح خيكونس بسمايون بانديرانا هاشتاج تقرأي جنوسايد زبل تسكيما نخزلور نسألتنا زحررت نفتوتنا زبسرت حقتنا زوسخت أوروبلان نعان مخفليلنا زدالنا يو وقع بتعمي دنك الزخونة شرطانيو نزات شرطانيا بحطير كزيت أمتام بلنا خنو داينا ننتا نفتت كالي بروغرامنا نخناتو أبزيون تقريب النيكيك نايدنبر أقسم سيستر سيتي مبل عسران حمشتر عامت أنبرسري نخو قرش مالتيو كابدي قتلنا سلامون مارين المدرخ سلامون مارين المدرخ إذا أخي تملتكم إتي أو قبل شنطرون زكواش أحزر الله جقنا سراوي تقراي نعوية توكل ذات إرات هذه أمو اسكفت حيا أرينا اسكفت حيا ميشم إذا أخي تملت حيا الربيات اللي دار قابلين أربجن حسكاس تخواش عغايو أميدا أو قبتها تقراي تريوار لهم إزي آيا لو سلامنا ماري شدا دكادة لدو الله وانكاد للمسانا استرحق حق لونهم تكعونو رحق حق لونهم أو رحق لونهم لو ما كم 5 جمير للقرسي
دارقا نحنا أريقنا هنا نبتحريز كبلس لقوركم نحواتنا نيو جنريشن لنهم غزلا أوزي تراريهم عود تقراي نصالنا تقراي كبس لخن مكل خان حيل تقراي بلوم صوم عوتيو عوتنا تحرمت يزنا سلام يزنا نملس خالوت بلوالو ولا يخلص سراوي تقراي بلصرحو عوت جنتيو دروكا بسرحي سراوي تقراي عالم قرا حيلا مراي جميرات النانيا أنا خلال كورنا يقصنا اللي له هذا مثلا ساعات تقولون له سوات كزوريو ولدنا لمنا سيل النو زاجرتا زازنيا سيلي نام كل حيل تقراي مثلي صنعات مثلي حدنت مثلي من النت تقراوينت لحنقتت سيلي لموساد أو زين الراوينا تقول الناس كل ما الناس لهنا أنا وصحفي البطانيرة هي بس اللي أنا 15 حد فنيرة خزف عيني مسرع بقول نانا ماني لاي خزس متعرتي لهنا تجاراتك خالية الدنيا وأنا من جمعها من ذاك تمرة قرزارو ب25 قرزارو ب25 قرزارو تبع تقرايتي من ما يوسداي مثلي مكلا الحيلي لا قرزارو ب25 دميراتنا من وسده من وسده من وسده داني دنفر أصغر تعليقها داني دنفر داني كتحكزنا نسوعك لنا داني دنفر كافتهم حبونيا تتقالسي أو كننا خوينهم كيف إنسو تقراي مبلنا نولي إرتراويو آي بيتقل شوال السيغة بميتو حمساي كوسنا يولا بميتو حمساي كافتهم بميتو حمساي يولا بميت حمساي لا تبدأكم بميت حمساي أبتم كوسنا يقول استودي أني حد أحد إلياس صدقني إلياس بسوري بميت حمساي نفولي مكان غير التكراري بسوري بميت حمساي تغنيلو بسلسة متعبسة خلنتها متوسخة كوسنا يقول خلنتها متوسخة بسلسة متعبسة ورشي كوسنا يقول إلياس بسلسة متعبسة ورشي استاسس ولو من أجلي تبغوا ما استاسس ولو إلياس خلنتها متغرشي وسخة بميت حمسة كوسنا يقول يوهونا كماتن هيلن عاوزين حبل تقرايتي بسرعة إلياس ما إلياس داي أنا حمست لي توشي وسيلة مسلتنا حمست لي توسيلة أنا كويس داي إلياس مسلتنا إيشي حدا ጊዜ ትናጭረታ ከይድና
قرشي يغون حموش قرشي 10 قرشي يغون 20 قرشي نوسخه لا يملسي السؤال قمتاتنا شرطان ساتف عندنا ማለት قلت يا غازي هذا كان دغنا انطلقوا اسكال غازي اتو لتكبر ابنا هضم اريتري 100 قرش وثيقه ب 150 كوس دايل 150 حدا سوت وثق له تقرشي لو نوثق هاي 10 قرش لو وثيقه كسعري غالي 10 قرش لو وثيقه كسعري غالي 100 قرش لو وثيقه كسعري غالي عم تجرش طوعيتي تلا جرتا اقحى وسدو تلا ما تجرش طوعي سلازم بنخال هو كلهم تستهدفوا تقوليهم بنخال هو تستهدفوا تقوليهم أزو بحالي علينا بحالي علينا هلو بحالي علينا عندنا لو وقتها ما سوينا جبنا بفتش نبت ويس عالم قسسة ويزر عالم قسسة افتقر لك مجمرة جميرة بس كان غازي القديم خيرهم كانوا كانوا سولدنا حنتي حب تقرايتي هاي ما انما يوسداي 100 تقرشي وثيقة بغلطة 150 كوسداي لانيا 100 تقرشي وثيقة عالم قسسة كوسداي تولا أما أخذ مناسين ميكي وزي طبعا ميكي أريدهم ولا لا تجارة تغريهم حموش طارش لا مستغط غريهم حانت دانار لا مستغط غريهم عسرت لا مستغط غريهم نقصي إسرائيل شواس ثقة على كوس داية لا نقصي إسرائيل شواس ثقة وعلى كوس داية لا خلت ليس على بس خليها أنا جويت عايز أصير يا من ما يتغني ناخذنا مجلس سيلو مجلس عالم شويت إسرائيل شواس خلاني إسرائيل شيء خلت ليس على بس حنيا من وصلنا هاي لو الدبا كتما قدمت خوينا من تحاولوا ولدنا كل عينة مسوات لا غيروا حدا ايوه هاي من ما يوصلنا لا غيروا إسرائيل شو وسيغ النيوم إسرائيل شو وسيغ لو الدبا ثلاثة عشرة وسحنا من وصلنا كودو من وصلنا اقلا بعلي الوسط لازم سيدي إسرائيل شو وصلنا إسرائيل شو كعصاباني زاسير زيالا من بيت غني بعلي الوسط إلو إلى إسرائيل شو وصلنا لا تشوسوا تناغي تقراي مقلت لغنا بنتزو أكبر لكوش علا مسلم مكلا غير حين تقراي ما نما يوصلنا بيتغش وصلنا لا تشوسوا بيتغش سولا هاي ما نما يوصلنا إسرائيل سلسة وصلنا سولا يا ريت
حولنا يا تجراي اي من ما يوزنينو 5 واس يخلالو 25 من وسده هايلا 30 ورشات وانا يوزنينو هايلا وزنينو وركنا أول شيء أروع وسيغو وركنا لكم من وزنا يزدنا نقصتي هاي مجمع 10 أشياء تتعرض زمان ما نبي وزنينا 10 وسيغ الله نقصتي صاي قول شكا أنا لعله غلاينا إسراء غشي إسراء تولى لا إله تقول الله وسنا يتوالينو إسراء غشي أطاينا وزقاتي موسيقى بمزقتاي أكل تقال صغير لقانس الله حونا تقراوايو أوزي مثل زين دقنا كساتا فيها 9 والله هاي من سيارة الملقيتا حياة تغلاس تقراوي من تركاوي هدري أنا هي الواس راينو $100 غابي الله أران $100 ناتي $9 ناتي الناس أنت تريد غلت بميتي لا تجارة ينينو غزي 4 ميتي واسقام على ناس لا يلا 4 ميتي FSN auto sales ودي في الصهاية قرار مكينا يو أو قدمي تقول لي كده سبيكر تشكي من الغلال الله حبونا تقرأي من يسايو أي بعلي الوسناينو خلتا ميتنا الله واسيق الله خلتا ميتي جمسي أجمع عليك مران أتاي غلنا الله هدنا وعروت قراري تقالازي أدو حيال جمسي ستقراري أنا يا نوزدان ميت غشير الفادينا شاف هاينا أرمان أرمان ميت غشير الله أرمان ميت غشير نقصي إسرائيل أنا جاونا من هنا جاو يبس الله راتو ها دكتور اسباو زاسيل زي أمان نمي وزنايلو ميتوشي وران نيشتاي بارشاكا تازندك شاكا نيشتاي بارشاكا إسرائيل سمعان سمعان كابتن وقت ميت خوينا جزء نزران غول النو تطبعوا على الدقراني سمعان $5 ትግራዋይነት ፍሉይ መንነት እዩ እዋዶ ንዒማ ዓሊ $200 እስቲ ንዒማ ሞራል الله كاسا باري تريو اللغون كافتي لا تقبله بعلينا تانا قد غمام من إسرائيل خلت تاميتي خلت تاميتي أصير المالو أتا يفتر كحس ما يوسداي علينا اللغون $5 راسي غلو أتا يفتر $5 بكي من سلمكي كابتن تقالسني حالا يوم قدمي تغينو تراك كلش على زورا ناسان سيستم قطاتي ودغيمو النيل سرشي النيل أخل جيزي أو قدمي تسلف حبونا تقرايو بكي ميتوشي وران اسمع لي مرهوي رزق سيرو كرسيات النمسا حبونا تقراي تقراساي $100 ميزان لازم مسألة تشتغل $10 الله تقراي بتفينا كده هالساينة عايزنا بحين بكره غسراي تقراي قاريو تقراي تسعر ولا بلاد هنا هذا تقالسنا بقوتنا بقرشنا تمسيس ولا غيرنا بتويتر